John Taylor of Warwick.
For securing this important debate today. I also congratulate Lord Houghton for an excellent maiden speech. When I was Chancellor of Bournemouth University, I had the pleasure of conferring on the noble Lord Ashdown an honorary doctorate. I still remember the inspiring way that he spoke that day. My Lords, I declare my interest in that I'm married to an American. My children are British and American. I'm an honorary colonel in the United States Army, and I was honoured to be given the freedom of a number of American cities and have enjoyed lecturing at various American universities. The special relationship between the United Kingdom and America was first used by Sir Winston Churchill in a speech in 1946. Our two nations share a strong common heritage. My wife's ancestors, John and Priscilla Alden, were pilgrims on board that famous ship, the Mayflower, which made the voyage from Plymouth to the New World of America in 1620, nearly 400 years ago. Despite sharing the English language, there are cultural differences which manifest themselves from time to time between America and Britain. To my wife, Laura, cricket is an insect she used to hear during the night in her hometown of Dallas, Texas. But to me, my lords, cricket is a fine summer game played occasionally in between frequent showers of rain. But these are but small differences between our two cultures. More importantly, when we travel to America, it is clear that the British brand remains very strong. For example, the British royalty, our literature, our history. These bonds are stronger, my lords, than whoever happens to be their president in the White House. These bonds will endure even beyond temporary differences in foreign policy. I recently had the privilege of being interviewed by Fox News TV about Brexit. It was clear to me from their questions that America is listening to and watching what is going on in Britain. I'm delighted also to have been invited to President Trump's forthcoming prayer breakfast in Washington, D.C. It'll be just me and the President of the United States of America. Oh, and 3,000 other guests. When it comes to foreign policy, the actions of the United States historically have had a profound effect on the rest of the world. When Donald Trump became president, he made it clear that he was going to focus more on greatness at home. Well, we could criticise him for that, but in essence, that's what Brexit's about. It's giving Britain the opportunity to become not just Great Britain, but greater Great Britain. Let us not forget that one of Mr. Trump's earliest actions on entering the White House was to restore the bust of Sir Winston Churchill to the Oval Office. That was an important signal, my lords, of the US President's bond with and respect for Great Britain. Concerning foreign policy, let us consider briefly the situation in the Middle East, in particular Israel. American presidents have endeavoured to broker peace between Israel and Palestine, but it's led to a stalemate situation where the peace process has become stagnant for some years. On the 6th of December of last year, Mr. Trump recognised Jerusalem as the Jewish capital of Israel and announced the intention to move the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. This decision also affirmed the biblical foundation for that city being the capital of Israel, and Israel being the true home of the Jewish people. This was, of course, confirmed by the British government 100 years ago with their Balfour Declaration in 1917. My lords, Mr. Trump has declared his support for Israel, and it is important for the United Kingdom to continue supporting Israel and world peace, since Israel is the only true democracy in the Middle East. The Holy Bible says in Matthew 5 verse 9, "Blessed are the peacemakers," not peacekeepers, peacemakers. It's very much an active thing. In order to achieve peace, it's important to recognize that there are agents of peace which world leaders can by their policies halt, misuse or use, not only to benefit their own people, but help to create peace. In Israel, a distinct agent of peace is innovation. Israel has a small population, yet ranks third in the world's economic forum's rankings of most innovative economies. The world has benefited from Israeli inventions, too numerous to mention here. Israeli intelligence services have helped stop a wide number of terrorist attacks around the world. Many Arab nations are now looking to Israel as a strong ally in their common battle for peace against militant Islam. These Arab nations now seek Israeli technology to help grow their own economies. So trade can be an agent of peace. My Lord, the UK has 28 UK trade envoys, only 5 trade ministers. Trade is an agent of peace. Will the Noble Minister say when the government intends to appoint more trade envoys? My Lords, there are 282 foreign embassies. Isn't it time for the UK to host a peace conference inviting ambassadors to talk about making peace? And in conclusion, the first duty of any government is to protect its people, but we live in a world where geographical boundaries will mean less and less. Perhaps one should remember there's only one race, the human race. This is why President Thomas Jefferson was right when he said simply, "Enemies in war, in peace, friends."